I am live with my wonderful C2C client, Kirsten. How the hell are you doing?
Good, thank you. Yeah, there's a bit more of a breeze today, so I'm not as hot.
Yes, I've not had to put the fan on yet, but it is here just in preparation to see where the day takes us. Thank you for hopping on. Obviously, I reached out to all the clients in our community and I was like, I want to help you solve problems, but I want to do it live. And I don't know if you can remember what it was you said in the form, or do you want me to read it back to you?
So I know it was campaigns. I haven't ran one before, so I need a bit of help with what is it? What do I do? How do I do it? Yeah. I think I missed anything.
No, that's it. I mean, the title of the live, what should your first marketing campaign actually look like? And we're going to try and nail that now. Before we do, just to give me context, but more importantly, everyone watching and listening, can you just explain 1 or 2 sentences what it is you sell and who you sell it to?
So I'm a leadership coach. So I spent 20 odd years as a school teacher and a deputy head. And I work with senior leaders. It's been predominantly females, but obviously happy to work with blokes as well. And my main sort of area that I look at is mindset, energy levels, looking at, we do an audit to begin with, so to kind of see, right, where is the person when they start with me. Then we have a bit of fun co-creating kind of strategies and different tools to kind of look at how best to sort out their energy and their kind of workflow and their life, because it, like with a lot of us, it's just juggling everything, isn't it? So it's just, we're all overwhelmed. It's like too much information. What do I do? So we kind of have a little co-create different strategies, and then at the end, the kind of my parting gift is sustainability. That's really important to me, so that somebody leaves with knowing that they've got the confidence to kind of continue what we've looked at.
Okay, amazing. And are there any specific industries that you sell into, or is it?
So I've sort of done a few different. I don't really pigeonhole myself, but I naturally I'm leaning towards deputy heads and head teachers, sort of schools, multi-academy trusts. But that's kind of where a lot of my clients' contacts are. But I quite like the challenge of working with lots of different people, because again, burnout is everywhere, isn't it? So that's kind of my burnout prevention as well. Okay. So it leans to lots of different areas, but yeah, a lot of the time I tend to sort of go towards schools. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. When we're doing a campaign, the more specific and targeted, the better. So I would recommend, if that's where your expertise is, clearly, if that's where you've had existing clients and you've got a network already, perfect. Yes. Let's just run with that. One last question before we kind of get into the build of this. How's it delivered? Is it delivered one-on-one, or do you tend to get a group of people from an organization or a school or a trust?
So at the moment I'm doing one-to-one, but again, I'm really happy to deliver workshops. In my mind, I'd love to have kind of, I don't know, a group of 8 head teachers, have a kick-off workshop for 90 minutes, then do the work one-to-one or peer coaching together as a group, and then like a bookend at the end to say, right, what have you implemented, what's worked, what hasn't. The other thing probably that I'd like to say is I'm really interested in sort of innovation, and because we all know this, that's why I'm not in it, education, there's all these rules, there's Ofsted, there's all of these constraints. So I'm really curious to know what's the school doing well and how I can then dial up the performance of the team and the culture of the school, because everyone's just on the knees. So that's kind of another angle, like a marketing angle, that I'm saying to my clients as well.
That's the next thing I wanted to come on to. Yes. What is the offer, like in a sentence? Yes. If we're going to go, let's just say we go with head teachers.
Yes.
Head teachers, I'll help you.
Yes.
What's the massive outcome? And you have to blow your own trumpet here and be a bit bold and maybe, I don't want to say overpromise, but really be quite forward and specific in what they're going to get.
Yeah. Really, it's maximize the team performance in 90 days or 2 months. I don't want it to be too long. The actual program is 6 sessions, so yeah, I want it to keep it fairly short, maybe a term, which would be 2 months.
Okay, so we're going to maximize team. Are we also going to like talk about acing Ofsted potentially? So we need a few things. We probably won't have time to get into all of them now, but it's like head teachers. I'll help maximize every single teacher in your workforce. That's not the right word, but every single school teacher. Ace your Ofsted reports and do this in less than 90 days. Prevent burnout, increase, I don't know, productivity, that kind of thing. There's still a few buzzwords in there, so I'd like to tighten that up. But rather than going offer specific, obviously we want to talk about campaigns today. So let's start by defining a campaign. And for me, that's a very short, focused window or sprint where you aggressively go and speak to people and put out marketing materials in a certain space with an offer of some description. So we've got what I call the 8 campaign catalysts. These are things that like wrappers that we can use to put around the campaign to make it more exciting and more allow people to buy into it, more enticing, with a sense of urgency. Before we get to that, I think the most important thing is to look at the diary and decide how long are we doing it for and when are we doing it. So I always recommend like 14 to 21 days. We have to take into account 2 things here. First thing being, when are your audience available? So if you're selling to schools, trying to do a campaign in fucking July and August probably isn't the best idea. So you can make that decision now or not, but you have to be available, and we have to at least think that the audience are available.
Cool. Yeah, makes sense.
So what are you thinking for that? If we can make some concrete decisions, that would be great. If we can't,
for me, I want to get somebody. I want to do this sooner rather than later, because I think now's the time that head teachers will be looking at September and like starting. There's normally like inset days where it's like setting out the year and the intention for the year. So I think like sooner rather than later.
Perfect. Okay, cool. So we've got 2 things there. We've got like a seasonal thing that we can use. That's going to help with the catalyst and the wrapping. But we've also got an anchor date, which is September. Like you want this sorted before you get into September. So that's a really good angle for us to use when we're speaking about the campaign, either one-on-one with people or through content. Okay. Then we have to decide on the angle. I mean, I've got 8 of them up on screen, which is what I call the campaign catalyst. First one is doors closing. Probably not relevant to this. For you, we could do a beta or a new offer. So we position it as almost, it's an incentive-based price because it's brand new. I'm looking for a few like schools to test this with. That could really help. We could also weave in limited spots potentially because there's capacity there. So you could say 3, 5, something like that. Then we've got the seasonal wrap, which we've already got September. You want this nailed. So you can start to play into the term time's nearly over. I did this at the end of last year with like a campaign that we ran. Where it's like, where do you want to be when you open your laptop on the 3rd, 4th of January? Do you want to have a plan in place and have done a bit of groundwork, or do you just want it to start off like every other year where you question your existence and wonder if this is even for you? So you can go into like those kind of things, almost like guilt tripping people. Next one is a price rise. Could do it. Up to you. I like to combine these. Then we've got a challenge-based thing, discount. You kind of, if we did the beta new offer, probably not that. And then some bonus stacks, a bonus stack as well, potentially, which we get into. What do you like? What do you most like the sound of?
Definitely the new offer. That makes sense. And the limited spots, I think that would work well, because my husband always laughs because he's like, I always describe education as being quite competitive, and he's like, is it? I'm like, yeah. So again, I could do the whole kind of, well, actually, so and so's already signed in, so this massive multi-academy trust have got a few spots already, so they've dialed in. But so I could maybe potentially use that as a bit of a marketing strategy.
Perfect. We have a client in C2C Build who sold something he was having conversations with Samsung and Google at the same time. And he was basically saying, well, here's what Samsung want. And then he was going to Samsung. Here's what Google want. The minute one of them signs up, he's now gone to Apple. He's gone to someone else. and it'll just spiral from there. So if you can play people off against each other, another angle for you on this could be to start a bit more local to you.
Yes. Yeah.
That will probably help, because then you've got the angle of being a mum who's in the area, who's an ex-head teacher at XYZ school. These things will really start to build credibility when you're having conversations with people.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I'm going to skip the bonuses for now. I don't think we need to worry about them too much. I think they can come, but a little bit later. It's just things like chucking in extra materials or workshops or whatever, but we don't necessarily need to worry about that. I think the next thing is deciding the channels and how you're going to actually get this message out to people.
Yeah.
So there's two. If we zoom out far enough, there's two that we can choose from. The one-to-one channels, where you're going to contact people, and then the one-to-many channels, where you're basically going to post content. So in order to do that, we have to think again from two sides of the coin. What are you proficient at, and also what are they most available on? So you already have a network of people. That's your first port of call.
Yeah.
So we dedicate every single one of these 14 to 21 days. We pre-make most of the content. We may have like a workshop or a training that people can join. Cool. We direct a lot of traffic towards that. But we want to dedicate most of the time to conversations with these people. So what are you thinking in terms of contacting people one-to-one? Obviously, you've got the warm people who already know you and like you and trust you, who you can get intros from, but then we've probably got some more cold people as well.
Yeah. So I'm going to go to an in-person networking event that's well established in Derby, and I know that one of the CEOs of this huge big mat goes there. So I've already chatted to the sort of business person. So I'm going to go and make sure I make a beeline for him and say, right, almost sync, but in person.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, love it.
But obviously, then there's like the ringing around, and like I say, the local schools, and so I've got my list of various people that I know, and loads of my friends are teachers as well. So again, there's probably at least 20 schools that I know somebody working in.
Okay, well, that's where we start. If people already know, like, and trust you, we need to leverage that. The way that we do that, I think, is very simple. You wait until after 6 o'clock, because these people are teachers. They're guaranteed, hopefully, not to be working. I know my sister's a primary school teacher, so she does a lot of after hours, but we ring them and we go, look, I've got something fucking amazing I want to put in front of your school. I need you to intro me to the decision maker now, please. And it's not like, can you, when you've got a sec, it's like, I want this to happen now because it's going to expire. If you do that, you'll get enough conversations out of the back of it for sure. You might even find that some of the people you speak to hold budget or are involved in the buying process.
Yeah, they absolutely are. Yeah. So I'm just going to, I've already been sort of hounding them, but I'll just make it more, I'll be more annoying.
Yeah, well, sometimes you've got to be forceful. You've just got to be a little bit more forceful and say, cheeky favor, but I need you to do this now for me if you can, please. We've been friends for ages. Yeah. Intro me to Rob, or Rob's just commented. So I think that's why I said Rob. Intro me to Dave, or intro me to Susan. That'll work. I think alongside that, we also have to think about the content piece too. So the content that we can, I'm a big fan, and every single one of these lives I've done like in the past 24 hours. Whenever someone's had a question, I've always in my head gone before, during, after, the BDA rule that I talk about inside C2C. So the during is obviously going to be during the sprint, and the after will be any kind of follow-up and fallout. Every time I've run one of these lives, it's always come down to the prep. So it's always the before. So you mentioned you've got a list. Perfect. That's before kind of behavior. We also probably want to reverse engineer from the end point, from the last date, a content plan that these people are going to be able to see and have most of it produced and tied to dates. So whenever I've done a campaign, it's always been, I will know before the campaign goes live, I've got a post ready for 24 hours to go, 4 hours to go. There's an email that goes out, 7 days to go. And I'm just aware of those anchor points because I've reverse engineered from that final date. And that's going to allow you to have, like, time is such a fucking great concept. When you've got a deadline, it'll gear people on.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think because we're in that last term now where people are tired, but obviously it's holidays in the UK now, well, in England. So it's people have kind of refreshed. So I can go back next week and be like, bang, here we go. You've got 6-7 weeks to get it sorted. And I need a date there's a very clear ending date before the summer holidays, even though a lot of decision makers will be working in the holidays. But I'm not going to leave it until then. That will just be the follow up. That's the after part for me.
Yeah, this is perfect. It feels like if you can get your skates on and do a lot of the prep this week, next week you can kick off, and then you've got that countdown, which is perfect. Okay, so we need that out in the calendar. We're going to reverse engineer the anchor dates. We've got a list of people. We then just want to tie content to some of the anchor dates and start to think about, well, what are the aspirations, hopes, and dreams of the people involved as the people you might be coaching, but also the buying team or the decision-making team as well. Think about things that when you were an ex-teacher were really prevalent in the, again, workforce. I don't know if that's a term that's used, but within the teacher group who sat underneath you, what were the main problems affecting them? What were the worries about Ofsted or about burnout? What typical frustrations sort of cropped up day to day? And when you think about that, you can start to make content about it. And I would use that to start going live. I mean, I know you've been doing a few lives. Next month, we're going to turn that into assets that we can put in front of these people, either personally or automated or through email or whatever, that's just going to knock over some of the dominoes or the barriers that will stop them from considering working with you.
Brilliant. Yeah, sounds great.
And then it's about the journey.
Yeah, I think that's the bit that will take not a lot of time, but just a bit of forethought of not to put myself in the way, but just trying to get that, dial in the messaging so it's very clear what the pain points are and the benefits for choosing me.
And you're going to sell this through a call as well, right?
Yes.
Probably. Yeah. So we want everything optimized. Imagine I see a post of yours, or I am Rob or Dave or Susan, who is the head teacher. I get intro to you. We need that next step to booking a call to be easy and in a short space of time. So definitely think about the journey they're going to go on after consuming things. You've got half a week left this week, still more than half a week. Obviously, I know it's half term for most people, but whatever time you can put into the before stage now to make next week easier, I'd probably park any of your other activities and just focus on asset creation, making lists, getting things ready. And that's going to allow you to hit Monday morning, or I don't know, it might be worth contacting some of these people over the weekend rather than waiting until Monday, and then making sure that the journey is sweet. We've got a call tomorrow night, which it's just a Q&A call tomorrow night. So sit with this for 24, call it 30 hours. I don't know. I can't count. Sit with this for 30 hours. And then any blockers or frustrations that you think might come up from your part, just bring them to tomorrow night's call and we'll address them then, just so you've had a bit of time for this to kind of set in and marinate.
Perfect. Yeah. Great. Good. I feel a lot clearer. So thank you. Yeah, that's good.
Oh, good. You're welcome. There's only so much you can do in 15 minutes, but have you got any other cues at the moment, or you feel like you've got enough to go on with?
Yeah, I think that's good for me. Just it's the journey, it's the friction as well, because I know what I'm like just generally in life. Life is busy, isn't it? When you've got kids and work and information overload, and you get overwhelmed by what do I do, where, when. So if a link is there, it's a no-brainer, isn't it? And I just want to get people on calls, because they can then, I can talk with them and see what their problems are. It's so broad, but it's also not very broad as well. It's like quite nuanced depending on the school. So
yeah, well, you've got to take the broad and make it narrow, and then narrow their thinking to be able to apply it to you being the solution. So we think about the list of people, the calendar with the anchor dates, what content needs to go out when, make sure the journey's sweet from seeing piece of content to call. And obviously we can make some of those assets in June when I work out what the hell I'm going to tell everyone to do with these live transcripts they've got. We'll get to that. I've got an idea. Sit with that for 24 to 31 hours, whatever it is. And I'll catch up with you tomorrow eve.
Yeah, wicked. Thank you. Thanks. It's been really helpful.
You're welcome. All good. Let me know how you get on tomorrow.
Will do, yeah.
All right. Cheers, Kirsten.
Thanks.